Hi, guys. Welcome back for another week. We'll have folks coming into the room shortly. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope the moms in your life had a good Mother's Day. Well, we got somebody in the room. That's a start. We're going to have a pretty full list of preliminaries. Okay, two people in the room. That's a good thing. Hello, Vicky. Good to have you here. As I look out my window, gosh, it got cloudy this morning. I was out for a run right after dawn, and it seemed sunny then, but it's clouded up since. Oh, three people in the room. Our ranks are growing. All right. There's a lot of stuff going on. I can't quite say on campus, but there's quite a bit of campus activities going on. Brenda, hello. Good to have you here. Okay. Hidden, good to have you here. All right. Well, my watch and the computer both say that it's 10:45, so who am I to argue? First announcement. The Associated Students event calendar is up. It's in the announcement section on Canvas. And there's quite a bit of stuff going on. GCC Pride Week continues. Asian Pacific American Heritage Month continues to have activities this week. Um, there are career development workshops that are going on today, tomorrow, and Thursday. And a little later, I'm going to tell you about today's workshop because you may want to go to it. Also, in regard to campus activities, student body elections are going to be coming up pretty soon. Hello, Andrew. Good to have you here. Um, I've already had one of my former students email me, and she wanted to do a little campaign message to my classes. And in a normal semester, you just say, sure. And the student comes in at the beginning of class and says, I'm running for student body treasurer, and this is why I think I would do it well. Well, we can't quite do it that way, of course, at the moment. So, what I told the student was if she wanted to maybe make a little campaign video, that I would put a link to it in the announcements. And, if I'm going to do that for her, if you're running for office or any of your friends are running for student body office, I will extend the same invitation to you. So if you have somebody in your life who's running for GCC student office and you'd like to sort of campaign through my class, I'll open it up to everybody. Just give me the link to your campaign video, and I'll put it in the announcements. Oh, hi, Hannah and JK and Emma. All right. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Our numbers definitely are growing. Okay, so that's student elections. Next thing. At 12:30 today, I'm going off to a virtual faculty meeting, and one piece of big news I already know going in. And if you've been reading your email, you know that big piece of news too, and that is about the fall semester. Yesterday, Dr. Vyar, the superintendent president of Glendale College, sent out an email to faculty and students saying that the fall semester will not be on campus. This was what we kind of expected was going to happen, and it did. while some of the K through 12 districts like LA Unified are thinking about going back to campus in the fall, Glendale College will not. So we will have remote classes like this one. We will have asynchronous distance education, but we will not have face-to-face classes. If any other interesting news comes out of today's faculty meeting that you should know, I'll let you know about it on Thursday. As for you, your supplemental instruction for today has been canceled. Stephanie emailed me, and she won't be able to do her SI today, which is a shame. However, I have found a really good workaround for you. A couple of minutes ago, I mentioned that our career education department is doing career panel workshops. Well, today's is a natural for mass comm students. It is a panel for arts, design, and entertainment. Listen to who these three panelists are. One is Rich Ahrens, who is an award-winning, meaning Emmy and Peabody, animator with 43 years of animation experience. Alan Hoisington, who is a set decorator currently working with Universal, Amazon, and VH1. And Jason Garwood, who's an executive producer at Microsoft Game Studios. This would be a really good panel for you to sit in on. So how do you do that? Well, it's a Zoom meeting. And in the announcements section, I have put the particulars, like the Zoom ID for how to get to it. Now, if you would like to have extra credit for attending this, and I won't be able to attend it because I'll be at the faculty meeting. If you want extra credit, write a 300-word summary of what the panelists said. 300 words, more or less, and turn it in to me within a week. I'll have a place for you to submit it. That'll be up sometime soon. This kind of all fell together this morning, so I don't have that set up yet, but I will have it set up by the end of the day. As for now, if you do want to attend this panel, look for the details in the announcement section on campus. That is up. That is there. Okay. Any questions about this? I'll move on to the next thing, but I'll be able to see the chat box and answer any questions that you have about this. All right. Up next. I've had a few students who were late with their term paper. If you are in that situation, you just missed the deadline, you didn't quite get it, email me, we'll work something out, okay? I want students to get through this class. So if you're real close to being done with your paper, but you just kind of missed the deadline a little bit, email me about it and we'll work something out. Quiz number 3 is next week. It will cover the first 3 chapters after the midterm. And so that is going to be the television chapter, internet, and advertising. Same as the other quizzes, it'll be 15 questions, multiple choice. You'll have a couple of times to take the exam. Should be pretty easy. So that's going to be coming up next week. Let's see what's come in on the chat box. Let's see. Emma is asking. Oh yeah. You're welcome, Emma. Yeah, try to get through those papers. You don't want them to pile up. Andrew is saying, is the extra credit for the out-of-school event still going to be applied? Yes, Andrew. I'm still going to give the field trip points for the field trips that got canceled. Yeah. Okay. we are up to the question of the day. And the question of the day is about term papers. Kind of makes sense. We're at that point in the semester. And what I want to ask you is, what is the biggest or weirdest or most memorable paper that you have ever written? What is the biggest or weirdest or most memorable paper that you've ever written? And what is it that made it memorable? And while you're thinking about that, I'll tell you about, I don't know if it was the weirdest, but it was certainly the biggest and most memorable paper that I've written. This thing. Yep. Anyone venture a guess as to what this is? Well, it is my dissertation. If you go to graduate school, at the master's level, you have the option of writing a thesis. Okay. At the PhD level, you must write a dissertation. And it is to be original research. And before it is approved, you have to defend your dissertation. In my case, it was in front of 3 professors, all asking tough questions. Well, I didn't successfully defend my dissertation on the first try. I got through 2 of the 3 professors, and the third one wanted me to redo my statistical analysis. And so I was already working at Glendale College at the time. And so I took a semester where I took a reduced teaching load to redo the statistical analyses throughout the dissertation, and finally got it approved. So let's see, what's the biggest or weirdest or most memorable paper you've ever written? Emma, I had to write a paper on the meaning of life, and I just couldn't get through it. Wow, a paper on the meaning of life. I guess if I was going to do that, I would start doodling what are the things that we want out of life. One of them would be purpose, I guess. Another one would just be happiness / comfort. Another of it would be human connections, et cetera, et cetera. And then I guess I'd take it from there. But yeah, that's a tough one, the meaning of life. And I guess you'd really, really have to make that one yours, huh? Hannah, the dissertation doesn't sound like fun. Well, it's kind of a metaphor for college in general, in that you just have to keep going. I mean, think about your situation, where I assume that nearly all of you are hoping to get a bachelor's degree. And essentially, that's 120 units. Maybe it's 124, depending on the major. But realize that's 43 unit classes that you need to, or the equivalent of, that you need to pass. I mean, that's not something you can overpower or just, pull an all-nighter. I mean, that's a real marathon that your degree will be. And if you go to grad school, which is a real interesting experience, I feel, you add more to that. Okay, Hidden is saying, honestly, I write so many essays regularly, I'm not sure which is the best. Recently did one on the cyclical victimization of women that you really enjoyed. Yeah. And I assume, Hidden, that when you say you didn't enjoy victimization of women, you enjoyed really, I don't know, looking in depth, doing a deep dive on that topic. Yeah. Theodore, writing a paper on the prison industrial complex that I'm proud of. Yeah. When you think about what about our era that people in the future will say, oh my God, how could you have done it that way? and I guess I'm going to be a little political here, but there's something about for-profit prisons that just seems really creepy. That's just me. Oh, Theodore, you're writing for your sociology class. Theodore, who do you have for sociology? Hannah had to write a paper about race, and being such a touchy subject, it was a little tough. Yeah. Hannah, one of the things about race is, that are there really races, or is it what they call a philosophical construct? I mean, for example, when O.J. Simpson, African American, football star, movie star, when he was put on trial for murdering his ex-wife, there was some discussion as to whether he really was African American. And you'd look at him and you'd say, well, of course he is. He's dark skin. He's an African American. But the other side of it was no. For the last 30 years of his adult life, he had lived a very privileged existence. He lived in Brentwood, and he was very wealthy and very powerful. So yeah, it sort of that was just one example of bringing up the idea of, well, how much is race genetic, and how much of it is socioeconomic class, and how much of it is, I don't know, position in society, and so forth. Let's see, Dosick. I had to write a blasting tactics. Oh wow! When you were in the military, blasting tactics. Gee, that would be an interesting paper. Wow. Oh, Hidden. Really, really enjoyed the analysis of the cyclical victimization of women. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you have Professor Kamei for sociology, Theodore. Oh gosh, he's very dynamic. Great guy too. Yeah. All right. Well, we had a good conversation about that. Let me tell you about what you're doing today. Today's media note is going to be a little different. And in the last class, I gotta say, I didn't have that many people complete it. And maybe because it is a little different. Okay. Today's media note is called The Psychology of Selling Cars. All right. Advertising doesn't quite work the way that you think it does. You would think that advertising just glamorizes the product. If you're selling if you're selling shoes, you would think an ad would say, "Look at how cool these shoes are," or "how cool the car is," or what have you. But really, what a lot of really slick advertising does is it tries to figure out the dream life of the sort of person who would buy that product. So if we're talking about trying to sell, shoes, like Nikes or something, you don't say, these are really comfortable shoes, or they're, the lightest shoes in their price range, or anything like that. You get into the athletic fantasies of the people who might want to buy them. Yeah. So anyhow, with these two car commercials that are in the media note, you go to Club Media Note, and then there's links to two car ads, one for a Chevy truck, one for a Range Rover. And then instead of answering the typical 3 multiple choice questions, when you go to the little media note quiz for this, it'll have a text box and 3 questions. So what you are to do is answer each question about 2 to 3 sentences per question. And I want you to really think about question number 1 about the dream life. What really are they getting at in the little story that is in each of these ads? Okay, so that's the media note. For the lecture today, we are getting into chapter 12, that's public relations. And I want you to listen to the first half of the public relations chapter. That is through the slide that is titled, Who Are the Publics? So, first half of the public relations chapter, you go through the slide that says, Who are the publics? All right, let's see if we have any last questions in the chat box before I end the live stream and head on over to Canvas chat. Okay. Any parting shots? If not, I'll end the live stream and I will be over on Canvas chat in just a few seconds. All right, see you there.